a lot of people are not very happy with the online maps and the disturbances it is causing. And a lot of evacuees are forced to take detours on highway closures, the emergency alerts that are being issued by the regional district.
Information about our highway conditions as well as any closures or detours would be available at drivebc.ca. For local traffic movement, I do recommend that people follow the instructions of their local government or First Nation who would best.
How and why these wildfires were, caused, and what were the main reason? Is climate change a very big reason behind it, or there are some other causes that have triggered these wildfires?
I know that this wildfire has been particularly challenging because of how dry the conditions are. But we have a number of air assets. So that means water bombers, helicopters, all kinds of aircraft to make sure that we're tackling things from the sky.
सूबे दे एमरजेंसी मैनेजमेंट क्लाइमेट रेडीनेस ਦੇ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਕੈਲੀ ਗ੍ਰੀਨ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਜੰਗਲੀ ਅੱਗਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਬਣ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬਾਲਡ ਰੇਂਜ ਵਾਈਲਡਫਾਇਰ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਵੀ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਹਫਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਮਰਲੈਂਡ ਦੇ ਲੋਕ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਇਵੈਕੂਏਟ ਕਰਵਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ, ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਵਾਪਸ ਵੀ ਭੇਜਿਆ ਗਿਆ। ਕੀ ਬਣ ਰਿਹਾ ਗਰਾਊਂਡ ਉੱਤੇ, ਕੀ ਕੁਛ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈਗਾ? Good morning, Minister. Thank you so much for joining us on the morning show today at Shere Punjab Radio.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So first of all, please tell our listeners about all the updates that are taking place with regard to the wildfires. What exactly is happening on the ground, especially when it comes to the Bald Range Wildfire? Like, a lot of people are not very happy with the online maps and the disturbances it is causing.
It's certainly been a very challenging fire season for British Columbia. We're feeling the impacts of climate change. We're having incredibly dry weather. Months of drought, and we still have many weeks left of the summer. We have an improvement in conditions compared to even just a few days ago. Right now, we have about 1,600 people who are evacuated from their homes, but there's about 26,000 people on evacuation alert. That means to be ready in case conditions change, to have to leave your home. And we're supporting everybody who's evacuated through emergency support services to meet their basic needs like accommodations, food, clothing, incidentals, things that you would need if you were evacuated suddenly and were perhaps caught unawares and didn't have support for that. So we're supporting communities, but my heart goes out to everybody who's been affected, everybody who's been evacuated or on alert. It's incredibly stressful, and my heart breaks for everybody who's lost a home. It's an incredibly difficult time for British Columbia, and we're here to help.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of evacuees are forced to take detours on highway closures, the emergency alerts that are being issued by the regional district. They have warned people not to use Forest Services Road, apart from 201 FSR. Even the online maps are directing them. So a lot of evacuees have concerns that they need to have better information on the condition of BC's back roads, which may be the only route out of some areas.
Mm-hmm. It's very challenging when highways are closed and when we have changing fire conditions, so that the closures may be intermittent. For our highways, I would recommend people visit drivebc.ca before they head out, because information about our highway conditions as well as any closures or detours would be available at drivebc.ca. For local traffic movement, I do recommend that people follow the instructions of their local government or First Nation who would best be informed about what the local road conditions are and the best ways to move around the area. Certainly recognizing that the 201 Forest Service Road, I had to drive it myself to go visit the community. It was really important that I spoke to volunteers and staff members who were part of the response. It is being emergency graded and maintained by our Ministry of Transportation, because we know that it is an important way in and out of Penticton right now. But we'd like to get back to a place where we can take the highway. So we're working really hard to make sure that we're working on that fire, keeping it within the fire lines, and doing everything that we can to keep people safe.
And Mr., have you guys analyzed how and why these wildfires were, caused and what were the main reason? Is climate change a very big reason behind it, or there are some other causes that have triggered these wildfires?
The underlying conditions are very much impacted by climate change. We had a very low snowpack, historically low in many areas. We may be facing that again this coming winter. Normally, we would expect to have a healthy snowpack, which helps to buffer us from drought conditions. But we are experiencing drought many months. Many rivers and waterways are at historic lows that have never been recorded before, including Okanagan Lake. So we are facing challenging conditions. But we need to also make sure that we're protecting communities. And that means things like our government has implemented a year-round fire service. So when our fire service is actively fighting fires, that's great. But when they're not, we can have them work on activities that reduce fire risk for communities. As well as the Fire Smart program, which is really hopeful for people to look at their home and how can they make it more resilient to wildfire. Fire Smart has really great resources to help you understand what your different options are. So we're working on being prepared, but it is a challenging fire season, and I just want to recognize that there's about 500 people have lost their home in British Columbia this year due to wildfire. It's really heartbreaking, and we're working with communities to help communities in their recovery.
Mm-hmm. And Minister, Bald Range Wildfire has now grown to more than 22,000 hectares and it's been termed as out of control. How is the ministry and overall government, all the firefighters are planning to, control this fire, which is spreading like at a rapid pace? So is there any strategy to it, and how do we manage this situation? How do we tackle this fire?
We have really great expertise in the BC Wildfire Service who make plans on how to tackle any particular wildfire. I know that this wildfire has been particularly challenging because of how dry the conditions are. But we have a number of air assets, so that means water bombers, helicopters, all kinds of aircraft to make sure that we're tackling things from the sky. But we've also got incredible ground crews that are cutting fire breaks into the forest to try to manage the fire spread. But there are very steep conditions in the area in Summerland and the regional district, and when the conditions are not safe for firefighters on the ground, we need to make sure that we're looking at our air support. And it's a moving puzzle right now. It's really hard for our firefighters. Just want to thank them so much for all that they're doing. All the ground crews that are supporting, as well as our structural protection units, and all of the emergency management personnel that are supporting this response. It's an incredible amount of people really dedicated to keeping people and communities safe.
Mm-hmm. And BC farmers are also reporting huge losses because of the wildfire and all the smoke. Is the government in talks with them regarding the overall analysis and what all can be done so that in future, whenever the wildfires take place or happen, the farmers could be saved or the farmlands could be saved?
There's definitely, it's a difficult for farmers because they're so connected to the land. They need that for producing, the beautiful peaches that we enjoy, or the beef that we enjoy. And so we are working with our farmers to make sure that we're supporting them in their evacuation in case they had to be evacuated. The most important thing is keeping people safe. But we also have agriculture specialists embedded in our emergency response centers so that that farmers are supported directly in the emergency response. I know that the Ministry of Agriculture is working on how to support farmers best as we transition to a recovery period. We're not in a recovery period yet, but I know that it's a really important priority. There are a number of programs that are pre-existing, like the crop losses insurance programs. We're taking a look at what all the options are and figuring out what's best.
And anything else you'd like to add in the closing, Minister?
just that, we're not quite finished the wildfire season yet. Things are looking better right now, but we're being prepared for all eventualities. I'd ask that the public is also prepared for all eventualities. Have your grab-and-go bag ready. Make sure that you're being aware of changing conditions. If you'd like to learn more about how to be prepared, preparedbc.ca has really good resources. And if you'd like to know more about what the wildfire conditions are, there's a BC Wildfire app that you can download. It gives you really good information about current conditions for wildfires.
Thank you so much, Minister, for taking out the time and joining us on the morning show today. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.